Probably going to edge towards Liquid, as I will in most cases. The thing is, they are one of those teams where it really, you almost feel like you have to worry about what Liquid's going to turn up on today. This is an aggressive start, though. Link already managing to get the first pick, and Toronto having to fall back off of this. And by the looks of it, they're just going to keep trying to put the pressure on. Link's going in alone. The raid boss pushing through, as he already finds a couple and has another one alongside him. What's going on?
Well, that was an interesting start for sure. They're dominating the site and the round. Link, you know, with those headshots, he looks like Scream. He's 1-0 up.
Yeah.
And it's been an absolutely gorgeous start for Liquid here.
And there were many people who did want to see Scream go back to the breach. Unfortunately, it's just his face that has in this case. But what a round from Link. He basically just W-keyed through. Yeah, sure, there was a fault line or two in the mix to maybe cut off some of the other players, but that was an unbelievable round from him. And we all know that, like, a Link in form, I know it might be a little bit controversial. There's a lot of Scream fans in the chat. I think an informed Link is the scariest player on Liquid.
Oh, those are some big words. With the way Solkas has been playing recently, with Scream, with Yampy. Yeah. I mean,
I'm supporting my
you're
brother.
really
There
trying
might be a
to
little bit
annoy
of
the
bias.
fandom. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of a Reddit thread coming after you now. Ironcaster. Well, no, it's okay. It's okay. You're at least silver, so we're all good.
Yeah, it took me months. Uh-oh. Well, this is a problem. Of course, this isn't much of an investment for Oxygen. You're normally going to see this on the defensive side. Most teams will not opt to force in, especially when you get battered as much as they did in the first pistol round. Like, if you don't get any kills, obviously they can't get a plant, so there's not really any extra finances to take the risk. Now, obviously, with Scream, we want to see him getting as many kills as humanly possible in these early rounds to make sure that he can get himself that Blade Storm. Of course, more expensive than it used to be, and even with the couple he gets in this round, he's still quite far away.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of grinding to get that one up, which means the weapons will be, in theory, a little bit weaker for Team Liquid coming into this round. Oxygen now have a full buy, and hopefully that's where we'll see them get their first kill, because so far it has been back-to-back flawless rounds from Liquid, which is going to be dangerous. And now, not in the first two rounds, right? Well, when you allow your opponents to build up money at this stage, a lot of the time they're having to reinvest that into utility, into armor, or shields, so it's not the biggest of deals. But if they get away with a flawless round here, then things get very scary for Oxygen. This has to be a round that the defenders come out, if not on top of, with at least 4 kills on the board, right? You gotta make this one competitive.
Well, I would say they have to win it.
They have to win it, really,
don't think you can't give that sort of start off to Liquid. Like, we've seen it before.
Exactly.
We have literally seen it before. We do not want anything of the sort again. It's going to be an aggressive stance, though. Getting into that C site, not really much utility to deny them. And in fact, it looks like Oxygen are just going to play the retake here.
Indeed it does. Yeah, they played off C site right at the start, looking for some more garage presence, and now they're having to fight back into the site, not looking to be overrun by the numbers of Team Liquid. The dash out and the swing by Glove gives them that first kill. Team Liquid on the back foot now as Link gets torn apart. The range duels are swinging massively in favor of Oxygen to start it off and to finish it as well, with Yampy being the last man alive and a 1v3 to win out. The spike not planted for him, currently being defused. It is pretty much done, but an incredible amount of damage done by Team Liquid. We said this was a round that Oxygen had to win. They have won it, great, but they've also lost 3 players along the way, Tom.
Yeah, it's a costly round to say the least, and well, one of the things, especially when it comes to a team like Liquid, when you have someone like Yumpy, even on that attacking side, normally willing to buy up the operator. Not actually going to do it this time, which is interesting. I was about to say they've got so much finances they could actually risk it, but maybe wanting to go for a bit of a faster paced round. And one of the issues here is there is going to be a piece or two missing for the defensive side. Now, if they can capitalize on this round, Oxygen are in a great spot. But if they're instantly broken back, we know, as it was said on the desk, that a lot of the time it's Liquid's attack that can be a little bit of a struggle on this map in particular. However, Sisto doesn't care. He's just walked out of garage and see you later, Yumpy.
Rolling Thunder, perfectly timed. Solkas is able to walk right up with it and take the kill on Zistow, securing the site, putting Team Liquid into a 4 versus 3 with the follow-up kill onto Unity. Now, Team Liquid can play this one nice and slow. They've got the better weapons. They've also stretched Oxygen's economy so thin that there is a small chance the defenders even contemplate a save. And with Glow falling, that chance becomes even greater, although I see them still swinging in for these duels and not doing too well on them. Mittez at least grabs a double. It's a 1v2. It starts to look doable. The cage up will stop him from pushing through. And with the time being so low, this seems like a very tough round to lose for Team Liquid. They've spotted that Mittez wants to go for this. He's pushing up close, and they just count to 3 and peek it together. 3-1 on the board for Team Liquid, and a disappointing start here for Oxygen.
Yeah, it's one of those things as well where I feel like if you're going to go for that retake, it was just a little bit too disjointed for my liking. I think it was Glove who actually just goes pushing in almost on his own in the initial parts of that retake. And it's like, okay, sure, after losing the initial couple of kills, you want to try and make that hero play. But especially when you're on the sky, you're the one with all of the flashes, it makes initiating back into that site very, very difficult if you're already dead. So not ideal. Oxygen are now going to be in a little bit of trouble economically, and Scream, could say the same for him. Left on just 14 HP.
Yeah, not the best of starts. You're going to get healed up at least by Solkas. Now, you look at Oxygen, lockdown Seekers, they're not really going to be used in a round like this. Ultimately, you want to just try to blindside some of these players, but they're running straight into a firing squad. Taken down by Yampy afterwards is Toronto, the site being overrun, but there's still 2 players here. Shot by Unity landed. So much more to do on that backside to make this an impactful round, and it just isn't going to happen. Zistow, he can at least land a bullet onto Link. It'll be a free kill, and that's an ambitious one. Dropping out of heaven. The classic right clicks, but hey, you know, his chances were pretty low as it was, so why not?
Yeah, I will say, out of all the players on this team, he is probably the one I'd look to in clutch situations. I think some of the rounds that I've seen going back through, like the Turkish Vods, you'll see some ridiculous rounds from Zistow, but a 1v4 with the Classic, probably not going to be one of them. It would definitely make the list of incredible clutches if it did come through, but not this time. Now, Scream not going to invest much into this round. A Blade Storm available to him to potentially try and open up that round. And by the looks of it, after how open the C site has been, they're looking to try and put a lot of pressure there, but Oxygen have some ideas of their own.
It isn't every day that you see a Viper pulled out when it comes to Haven. Most teams completely avoid this, so I'm very happy to see that Oxygen have taken a liking to it. I know that Lothar is as well.
Well,
and this ultimate
were one of the teams that did do it.
Didn't last too long though.
No.
And this is the thing. It's just it's something that teams have experimented with and often found that they just have better agents that they can play. And say that it's Omen and just watch George from Upcomer have a meltdown.
Found one.
He's not a fan. He's definitely not a fan. A lot being used already. A hell of a lot of players being caught by the Seekers. The problem is they've not actually capitalized on any of the duels. They've managed to do some damage onto a few different players, and they've forced a reposition. But with how many players are currently playing in the link from Oxygen, they've got a very fast rotation into B. There's already 3 players here.
Well, that wasn't ideal, but the follow-up kill was there. Oxygen coming in big over in the corner. Glove is able to take a double, and now that spike is delayed getting into sight. The rotates are already underway. Both players coming in from the seaside connector. Cryptix catches one on the back side. The swing by Unity, but the wall actually blocks his vision. He's going to try to take the 1v2, but it's not going his way this time. Team Liquid steam into the lead. 5-1 up at this point. And this should be a money-making opportunity as Oxygen again have next to no cash to play with. I do like the adjustment from Team Liquid. They use the Seekers. They end up getting caught in a grab well. They're not able to follow up with too much pressure applied to them. They have the Wolf to use, or the Tiger, if they want to try and clear out, but it doesn't work quite as well as Sova's drone for countering Viper's ultimate, right? Just not being able to tag them is what ruins it. So they decide to leave C then, and I think that was the right call.
Well, what I will say is, I think Oxygen actually played that round incredibly well. Like, their read was perfect. Like, I think they almost had a 4-man stack on B when the push came in, so the fact that they lose that round has actually got to be infuriating. Because other than the fact that they didn't win the duels, they played that round perfect.
Yeah, they did, absolutely. And when it comes to this one here, the worst part about it, Tom, is the fact that you play that round right. You win, you should win it on paper, but you lose it. And then you come into a round where you don't really have anything to say. With very weak weapons and even a judge pulled out, but not being pressured at the start of the round. Having to retake with a judge is never ideal. This ends up being a pretty underwhelming round. One last hurrah by Zistau, though, to get 2 kills. Does mean that this round is somewhat costly for Liquid, but I don't think Oxygen will be looking at that bright side just yet. Instead, they're going to be looking at this round and thinking, we damn well need to win it. And I'm surprised there's not even a pause coming in here, Tom.
Yeah, it does look like the sort of time to take a moment, but I guess with some of the rounds being so close, you almost look at it and go, I guess you'd pause it maybe for momentum, just try and give yourself a calm within the storm. They're also going to bring in the operator in this round, so that might just be the game changer. Toronto is definitely one of those sort of crazy Turkish operator players that can completely dominate a match. They're going to need him to do that for the rest of the half, though, as they are quite far down. And on the side, as said, that normally is a bit of a struggle. And, well, there's also an op on the other side.
Oh, that catches him on the way out as well. This is such an important round, and Scream is just walking all over them, man. Oxygen losing the B side, losing 3 players. I mean, there's nothing that they can do to get back into this one. They could try to commit the lockdown to push these players out of position, or just run in and try to get the kills, but ultimately it would just be wasted utility, economy, and ultimates. Instead, it is the save. And even at that, Tom, they're pretty split trying to save these weapons. Zistau manages to creep his way into spawn, though, so he'll be coming over towards Toronto. They've heard the operator, though. Surprisingly enough, they don't just hunt him down. They're not straight pushing into Toronto to try and retrieve that op. Instead, leaving Cryptix to lurk and possibly catch him off guard in the last seconds of the round.
Maybe expecting him to push a little bit more aggressively to try and defend it, but not in this case. He'll be allowed to hold on to it. That's something at least. I do start to wonder now if the side of Oxygen are like getting those flashbacks to just Scream, just running down it. No, not again. He's just walked into me and just absolutely obliterated them. I will say, Link's another one of those players where I just absolutely love watching him on the reach. Like, I've been singing the praises of Bonker recently for like throwing it up on Icebox, because I think it's an agent that definitely should be played more, especially with the buffs that it received. But it's just like, you look at a lot of the kills that are coming through for Scream there, half of those players are stunned. Half of those players are in positions where they now can't do anything because Link has forced them off an angle. Like, he is such a fantastic support player and can also just like 4K them a pistol round as well every once in a while as well. So I don't know. This is looking incredibly rough for Oxygen this round as well. Well, we see the pause come in, but again, with the fact that we're only looking at a few rounds left within the half for potential for them to get through. Okay, sure, Liquid probably won't be happy from this point if it ends 7-5, but on the grand scale of things, that'd be a pretty good half.
It would indeed. You know, there comes a point where we start to question for Oxygen, and I think the desk questioned it immediately, the fact that they banned Icebox in this series, and granted, they had 2 rough maps.
They got smashed.
They got
rough
destroyed. They absolutely did.
Year.
But this was, at least regionally, this was something that they were very comfortable on that map. And considering Liquid are not exactly doing too hot there, it seemed like an odd ban with Haven hanging over them, where they have been much more consistently smashed. And oh no! The blind! It was at the perfect time to ruin Glove's chances, his hopes, his dreams. Scream's trying to help them out, man. He's popping a couple of kills, a couple of shots rather, onto his own teammates. Oh god, this is not looking ideal for Oxygen. And yeah, you're very right. It was the Seeker, of course, that blinded him up, and then we had the Tiger was about to be deployed. That was a very awkward engagement out on A long. A very awkward round for Oxygen as they again fall behind. And, well, Tom, we talked about kind of round 3, round 4, Team Liquid having a flawless round would be dangerous. They've had a couple of close to flawless rounds now. Their credits are riding down high. I did not need to see this again.
Stay down.
The thing is as well, it always seems to be that they face off against lower bracket Liquid, which for anybody who doesn't know is completely different to upper bracket Liquid. Upper bracket Liquid, I would say average. Lower bracket Liquid, sometimes unstoppable. And that's what they keep facing off against. Each time they come up against them in the EMEA, this is a team that will get eliminated if they lose. And so Liquid just then come out in their best possible form. They are ripping them a new one in every single round that comes through. Toronto is giving it a damn good try in this one. But even still, it's a 3v2.
And he's stuck in a corner and then wall banged by Yam because he was 10 HP. So make it a 1v3. And Zistow that has to get it done. He's had that lockdown all game, it feels like, and it's still not going to have an opportunity to be put down. Oxygen are just getting rolled, man. With the exception of the round where they specifically played retake on C in round number 3.
That was the bonus round as well.
That was versus the bonus round, exactly. And so obviously that's why they were doing that. Yeah, 17 HP. He was dead the whole time. But with the exception of that round, it feels like they are gone in the first 15 seconds. Their defense is completely rolled over, and any hope of applying some of these ultimates like your lockdowns is out the window because you're just going to get rushed down.
Get out of my way.
Or you don't have the manpower to even retake afterwards.
No, he peeks after the shot goes through, expected to try and catch Yumpy without anybody alongside him. Instead, he's met by a bullet to the face. I almost am starting to wonder if Oxygen have won an opening.
One enemy remaining.
I'm running through it in my head. Zistow might have gotten one, but
that's how
about it.
This has got to. Because that's the thing, like, one of the problems that Liquid always had, especially versus more passive teams when it came to this attacking side, was, well, at least they used to, they didn't even play a duelist. So they were almost waiting for somebody to get them an opener, and they would try and execute on the rounds. Now, Oxygen's response in a lot of these cases has to be more aggressive, which I can't really blame them at this stage. If they sit and wait, they get ruined anyway. But yeah, this has not gone to plan. Let's put it that way. There is, of course, at least another map to play, and we have seen some crazy comebacks, you know. The FPX versus Fireflux game on day 1, they were 10-2 up, so maybe there's a small glimmer of hope, but it's just the manner in which Liquid are winning these rounds that makes it all the more painful for Oxygen.
Yeah, I feel kind of like I'm the DJ at a funeral now, you know? It's like, I don't know what the tone should be.
Everybody clap your... Oh.
Get your hands in the air! But, well, 5 versus 4. And Oxygen again on the back foot. Flash up by Globe. He's going to try to get something done, but hey. At this point, maybe you're thinking, map 2. Map 2 is going to be a lot of fun. Was it Breeze? And then follow into Split, if I remember correctly. Okay. Oh, hold on. Is this going to be a round for Oxygen? They might be putting 2 on the board, Tom. It could finally happen. They've even stopped the spike from being planted. Yambi! Oh, no more rounds for Oxygen. That's for damn sure. An 11-1 half. Have you ever seen the likes of this domination in such an important stage of the game as well, Tom? The first elimination match. Oxygen battled hard in the last EMEA event. And now, well, it ain't off to a good start. That is painfully obvious.
Yeah, this wasn't meant to happen again. That's all I'm gonna say. This was not meant to happen twice. And so especially when you see like other people like, yeah, they're going for revenge, and it's like, well, now it's just depressing. They've gone for revenge and they're getting battered almost as hard as last time. I guess if we see them play like another 13 times, they'll probably get there, like slowly increasing a round at a time. You never know. Maybe they'll get a pistol. Already though. Fault line coming through. Flash giving a little bit of information, and they've got the Viper screen, trying to make things at least a little bit more awkward, although it seems like with the rotation already coming in thick and fast, they might be pushing into a stack if they continue on this way.
Tom, I think it's safe to say that Oxygen need a pistol, right? I think we can say that.
Yeah, I would
say they'd be in a bit of trouble.
Might be the word I'd use.
It's about to be a tough half, that's for sure. Link, oh, he did it in the pistol last time, and he's come out with a double in this, both headshots as well. Keep giving this guy a ghost. Just keep giving it to him. He's just looking disgusting with it. 4 versus 3, Liquid. Looking too damn hot to stop. Scream gonna be shut down. Cryptic's up close. The flash is good. No peek from Toronto. He ends up getting blinded and taken down on the close swing. This is very dangerous indeed. Sistow around the back, and not even he can escape. 12-1. Tom, I like Breeze. You know, it's a great map, and I think between these two teams, I'm hoping it's going to be a lot better than this one. And it is. It brings us back to that topic. Well, I don't think they're going to eco, Tom. Let's put it that way. It brings us back to the topic of Icebox, of banning that out. It just seemed like such a strange decision, because I'll take the point that Oxygen haven't looked too hot on Icebox recently, but I would much rather, with recent records taken into consideration, I would much rather play Icebox than Haven if I'm Oxygen against Liquid in particular. But hey, they took the gamble, they rolled the dice, and this time around, it did not pay off.
Yeah. Well, for now, at least. See if they can do anything.
Enemy
With
kill.
4 spy. It's not pretty for Scream, and they will eventually fall. Not going to be.
He would have
the
died quicker
same
than that in the matchmaking
mid-push
game
of last time. Maybe. But to be
No.
fair, I always get one tapped in my matchmaking.
Oh yeah.
I'm against like gods of the game.
Oh god.
Oh no! Oh, Sorkas has got a triple. It's left onto Unity. He's fighting for 2 rounds, Mitch. To give them a chance in hell on Haven. Can he bring this back? No, he can't. Do you know what? I think that was actually quicker than the few rounds that they played against G2 earlier.
Defenders
I think you're right as well. Okay, well, that is